And now onto the Superhero Showdown this week with Swamp Thing versus The Signal.
Yes, our first of the DC side of the bracket.
It is the first of our DC side of the bracket, and I believe these are both heroes.
Yes, they are. Swamp Thing, who we've talked about a few times, and
yeah,
The Signal, who we have not.
Yeah, The Signal is a member of the Bat Fam. Pretty cool character. At some point I might get around to the character file on him.
He'd be good at Christmas.
He would. You're not wrong. And Swamp Thing, who, I mean,
we've talked about Man Thing, so
yeah, and they do have a lot of similarities. They're one of the few characters where I don't hate the constant. Oh, they're just copies of each other, because I mean they really are.
They are. So
The Signal is due his advantage, as this is the 1 versus the 8th seed.
I have an advantage for him.
Oh, go on then. Let's see if this lines up with mine.
I was looking over his powers and stuff. And obviously he can control light and different things. One of his
the green. Oh, sorry, you're talking about Signal.
Signal, sorry, yeah. One of the things he had was he can be invisible at times. So I was thinking we allow him to be able to do be invisible.
Okay.
And made that his advantage, because I feel like that would help him a lot.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. My potential advantage that I had come up with was the environment the fight is taking place in. Is not a particularly natural environment with lots of trees, which will limit Swamp Thing's powers and ability to.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with whichever you're more confident with. If you want your man to be invisible, he can be invisible.
I don't. I'm now trying to game the system. I think we go with the invisible, because it's we're trying to do an advantage for the Signal. I think it's better that if we can make the advantage on their side
instead of a disadvantage for the other. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. So it's a pretty neutral environment anyway then. Both bloodlusted. Fight.
Rules apply.
Yeah.
18s and over.
Standard. Off Bill plays mission before 17. So, you know what's really scary? Sorry, now that I've just said that. There's going to be an entire generation of kids that don't remember them adverts. It's like, please seek Bill pays permission before entering.
Yeah, there really is.
They're not going to know.
Yeah.
Because there's an entire generation of kids that don't actually watch TV now. They just watch. And don't get me wrong, this is all I watch now as well. But like YouTube, Netflix, streaming services, no actual honest to God TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is the only place them competitions ever get run, which is just hilarious.
So Swamp Thing, I feel, is more kind of understood. If you don't know, big plant guy.
He controls the green. He protects the green. He is the green. He's very similar to Poison Ivy.
The yoked version, in a way. He's just strong.
And he's even more neutral than Poison Ivy.
Yes, he's a very neutral character.
He does live in the swamp lands, and as long as you stay away from the swamps, doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. He is just really fucking strong, controls the plants, and he can grow in size, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Lots of control over his own body.
The Signal is all control over light and darkness, essentially.
Yeah. It's not.
He can do some
control, as far as I know, and it's not insane levels, but he can make some shit happen.
Yeah, and he can. I was looking up and he can see very slightly into the past and very slightly into the future, by a few seconds.
Yeah.
I think, and he has X-ray vision as well, because he can sense everything on the UV spectrum. And then obviously we talked about that he can be invisible at times, which I'm gonna guess is him bending light around himself.
I would assume so. That would make the most sense.
Um,
My thing is plants enjoy light.
mm.
Like plants don't have many things. One of their things is light is tasty.
Yeah, see, if the Swamp Thing is the same as like light, he needs certain amount of light to just sustain because he
I
is.
don't even necessarily think that he like needs light, but like plant life in general, he feeds off of
Yeah, is
in the
hit.
sense of he's connected to everything. This man's a walking UV bulb that's just like photosynthesis heaven. Heaven.
Yeah, but he can also control darkness to
True.
certain. So he could just pull all the light away.
But that doesn't instantly kill plants, it just stops them growing.
True. It's a weird because I feel like the whole like seeing a little bit into the past and future is gonna help him like I think with invisibility and that, like he's gonna be able to get some like jabs and damage in. I guess it's kind of like Swamp Thing's a big chunky guy. Can the signal be dexterous enough to just like wear him down essentially?
I don't think so. Because as far as I know, he's pretty much like human level durability. And Swamp Thing does like tendrily things, which are like
Non-human things.
well, it's not even that. They're just like they're very kind of like frog tongue in the sense of they're very
Yeah.
very accurate and
I think he'd be able to like dodge a certain amount of like attacks, and being able to go invisible and stuff is going to help him because Swamp Thing's not going to be the smart. He's not the smartest. He's neutral and he's got a certain level of intelligence, but like he's not going to be able to predict necessarily where he's going to reappear or anything.
yes.
But I
I think
do feel like the plant life is going to somewhat eventually overpower the signal.
it's a lot of posturing and the signal hoping for an opportunity that just never comes. And then
Mm,
the Swamp Thing just essentially clamps down on him over time, and then before he knows it, being crushed to death by literal tree trunks.
yeah, I think he'll be able to wear Swamp Thing down a bit, but at the end of the day, like you say, he's just going to get kind of overrun because all it takes is
Yeah,
like getting hit the odd time, getting caught by the odd vine that slows him down in a split. So like, then suddenly it's like, oh, now I've got two things on me. Oh, and now I'm like being engulfed by vines and I'm no way out.
Swamp Thing has too much of a punch potential.
Yes,
So like I said, all he has to do is get tripped up, and then all of a sudden, it's a literal
it's like a
forest dropped
Yeah,
on his head.
it's like domino effect.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue. Don't get me wrong, I think he holds his own pretty fucking well, but I mean, he is a human. It gets
Yeah,
to the point where he just
I think
gets
if he could
done in.
hold off long enough and like plunge everything into darkness, then maybe that slows down like Swamp Thing's like able to heal himself or whatever. And
Yeah,
weak like over time is going to weaken him. But I don't think the signal can kind of last that slugfest that would need to be.
yeah,
So I think unfortunately, even with the advantage, it helps, but it's not enough.
yeah.
And I think Swamp Thing takes it.
I'm inclined to agree. And that makes something our first
D-
winner.
of DC, it is. And it's a shame
Indeed.
that the signal's already out, but I
Such as
mean,
life. Get good, scrub.
he can go rock up to the Bat Farm Christmas and control the Christmas lights.
Exactly. He can come have absolute vibes with us for Christmas.
He can.
And who wouldn't want to do that, in all honesty? Next week, we have another fun one.
Oh.
Raven versus
Oh.
Booster Gold.
Interesting.
Now, I have a feeling,
They're not both
as
your
Booster
picks.
Gold is... No, Raven is your pick. And
Oh
Booster
yeah,
Gold is mine.
God,
I've got a feeling I
been a while.
put Booster Gold on just to cause you a headache.
Yeah, because I feel like you waited till I gave you mine, so then you ended up picking like you're like, well, fine, if you're gonna pick them, I'll pick this.
Yeah. I think that's what I did.
Non-toxic Connor.
Sometimes I just let. Sometimes you just got to let the intrusive thoughts win.
I don't blame you.
I would also like to point out.
Here we go.
All of your characters have the number 1 seed.
So
you have chosen all of the OP characters.
That's because you let me pick first. Don't act like if you had gone first, you wouldn't have picked some strong OP ones.
I mean, you do also have 3 out of the 4 8 seeds. You have no.
Yeah, I have a good balance. I have good range. Good range of characters.